maybe I'll bring one over here.
Yeah, just sit there. You sit with us.
So I've been coming to meditation for a few years now here. I started out after my parents. They started Sahaja Yoga, I don't know how many years ago. 5 years? Maybe 5 years.
Yeah. But I cannot hear from you, so if you can speak louder.
Okay, sure. After my dad passed away, I started coming a little bit more often. I wanted to find out what was this connection he had. He would talk to me about this connection, this coolness that he would feel, and I had no idea what he was talking about. And now I do. So it has helped me in many ways throughout life. And I know I'm just learning. We've just sort of touched just the very basic truth. We're only finding out stuff now, and there's so much more to, dive into and learn, which is why this Guru Game is so great. We all get a chance to go a little bit deeper and teach something to somebody else and learn from someone else. And we all had these quite nice experiences, actually, throughout these Sahaj Guru Games. So I have Lao Tzu that I will be talking about today. So we'll start with a tiny little intro about this void area. I mean, we did hear a lot in the video about the void. So what the void is this area right here. And within it are these two chakras. So the Nabi and the Swadhisthana. The Swadhisthana chakra actually hangs from the Nabi. And it swings in a circular motion. So that is what creates this void. It's an empty space, basically. So in a subtle level, it's this empty space, and in a physical level too, actually. So where the Kundalini is here in the sacrum bone, there's a physical gap between the Kundalini and somewhere around here where the vagus nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system is. So if you're familiar with the vagus nerve, it stems at, it's at the base of your brain, I guess, and it's a cranial nerve, and it goes down your body, and it ends around where your abdomen is. And there is that physical gap between that area. So the void represents something that is called Bhavasagara, or this ocean of creation. And it's obscured by this veil of illusion. And so the state of ignorance has to be overcome before we can feel the bliss and beauty of the reality, which is our pure spirit. When the Kundalini rises and fills the void, our attention is led out of confusion, out of this sense of illusion. And that's when we reach this higher awareness. All of the great prophets who have come to give us knowledge of this higher reality are associated with the void. Prophets like Sri Raja Janaka, Abraham, Moses, Lao Tzu, Confucius, Guru Nanak, Muhammad, Sainath of Shirdi, Zarathustra, and Socrates. The main focus of their teachings has been to instill dharma, the rules or ways to live righteously, to maintain balance within ourselves and with everything around us. So I actually thought that made a lot of sense. Like, you do have to be righteous in order to ascend. You can't be a murderer. You can't covet thy neighbor's wife. You can't behave in this way and go against the purity and innocence of your spirit and think that you can ascend to the heavens. It doesn't make sense. I also believe that this is why these primordial masters came to earth, to help us to find balance so that it would be possible to cross over this gap and to reach this level of reality that we were meant to reach. So So I'm going to be talking to you today about one of the great ancient Chinese philosophers who lived in the 6th century BCE, named Lao Tzu. There isn't too much concrete information about Lao Tzu, about his life and too many details about that. But it's said that when he was very old, he rode on a water buffalo and he went to retire in the mountains. And he was stopped by a border official who urged him to write down his teachings so that it could be passed on. So he retreated into the mountains and he wrote something that is called the Tao Te Ching. Tao means the way. Te means strength or virtue, and Ching means scripture. The 81 verses of the Tao Te Ching deal with topics ranging from political advice to rulers to practical wisdom for people. But the main underlying theme that Lao Tzu is trying to teach us is that we as human beings are part of nature. We're part of God's creation. And that we live a good and worthwhile life only when we become part of that creation, part of God's will. We have to go with the flow, change with the seasons, basically. So Tao is known as the flow in the universe. It's incredibly powerful and keeps things in the universe balanced and in order. It means the Kundalini. This is a quotation from Sri Mataji, the founder of Sahaj Guru Game, about Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu in China has very beautifully described Tao, meaning the Kundalini. And I have had a voyage through the Yangtze River, through which Lao Tzu had gone many times. I know he was trying to show that this river, which is the Kundalini, is flowing towards the sea. And one should not be tempted by the nature that is around. The nature around the Yangtze River is very, very beautiful, no doubt. But one has to go through the river. Also, there are lots of currents which flow and can be quite dangerous. And we need a good navigator who should take his ship across to the point where it is nearer the sea. At that stage, it becomes very silent and extremely simple in its flow. When I first read this, I pictured the void and the representation of overcoming the illusion of the world to the stillness of the absolute. Lao Tzu describes Kundalini in this verse from the Tao Te Ching. The valley spirit never dies. It is the unknown first mother, whose gate is the root from which grew heaven and earth. It is dimly seen, yet always present. Draw from it all you wish, it will never run dry. In Sahaja Yoga, we learn that the Kundalini is a nourishing, motherly energy. As Kundalini rises from the sacrum bone through each chakra, it pierces the fontanelle bone at the Sahasrara chakra, where it connects with the all-pervading power, Adi Shakti. Lao Tzu writes about this connection in this following verse. In Tao, the only motion is returning, the only useful quality, weakness. For though all creatures under heaven are the products of being, being itself is the product of not being. I think that verse is trying to explain that there's a continual return of all creatures, be it human, animal, nature, back to the cosmic principle from which it came from. It's the union with the primordial. Lao Tzu also tried to show that sometimes what is not tangible, what can't be seen, is more important than something that can be seen. 30 spokes connect to the wheel's hub, yet it is the center hole that makes it useful. Clay is shaped into a vessel, yet it is the emptiness within that makes it useful. Therefore, though advantage comes from what is, usefulness comes from what is not. I wanted to end with this last quote from Sri Lao Tzu that had so much meaning for me. The world had a beginning, and this beginning is the mother of the world. When you know the mother, go on to know the child. After you have known the child, go back holding fast to the mother, and to the end of your days you will not meet with danger. My understanding of this verse is that the beginning of the world is the mother, like Mother Kundalini. And when you know this, you go on to know the child. I think child here represents yourself. Know yourself. Realize that greatness that is within you. Remove the veil of illusion and feel that you truly are the pure spirit. Then hold on to this truth. Know that you have no beginning or end. The pure spirit always is. So that's kind of what I learned. And so a personal experience now. I couldn't really find something I could hold on to that it was specifically Lao Tzu that I had a connection with. The only thing that I could think of was this idea of kind of going with the flow, accepting what life gives you. So we were thinking of selling the house, or maybe just redoing the same house, and everywhere I went, everything I tried to search for or find, there was blockages everywhere. There's always something stopping me, and I was thinking, okay, maybe that's the wrong idea, maybe I should stick with one thing or the other, but now I feel instead of getting upset about it, I should just understand that maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it's the wrong move. It'll come as it should. But I think the more profound feeling I had with this whole game was when we learned about the different primordial masters, how they all came to give the same truth, basically. They were here to help us to pass on to this next stage, to overcome, I guess, this blindness of where we are. And then I thought about Sri Mataji. And I felt, yes, you know, she's also the same. She came to guide us and help us. But it's different. Sri Mataji gave us our self-realization. When I look at these videos of her spending one-on-one time with people, there's just so much love. I don't know how to explain it really. It's like she came to help us and to not just give us rules on how to live, but to help us to ascend. By giving us our self-realization, she also gave us these techniques, these ways of strengthening this connection. And it's like she's like this mother, and we are the children. She does everything with so much love. For me, it's like she's this embodiment of love, just pure love. This nourishing, motherly energy.
One question to everyone. Did you feel vibrations?
Yes.
That was wonderful.